Welcome to Autumn Acres Mini Pet Pigs YouTube channel. I'm Autumn. I have had pet pigs for almost 19 years. I got my first one when my husband and I were newly married. It was That little piglet was literally the love of my life. I loved him so much, but unfortunately, due to a horrific breeder, she inbred them and starved them to keep them small. So Oscar only lived 2.5 years. Um, that the fact that he died so young when I expected him to live closer to 10 or 15 years was a huge blow. I wasn't prepared for that, but he died at night in his sleep. And later I found out the true conditions that he was born into. I didn't know that, of course, at the time when I purchased him from a pet store, which I was young and I didn't know. And there was no internet back then to help me really be educated. I brought him home having done no research, have never talked to anybody who had a pig. So it was a challenge to say the least. I did go to the library and I got all the books I could find. There were two. One was about farm pigs and one was about pet pigs. And neither of them were very helpful. They said things like, pigs are so easy to potty train, but they didn't tell you how to do it. Or they said, you have to be careful because pigs can become aggressive and mean, but they didn't tell you how to prevent it or how to fix it. So that was something that I had to figure out on my own. I had to learn on my own. Over the years, we've rescued several. I've bought some from breeders. I all over the place here. We've had many. And really, for the most part, I've had to learn on my own. I have had, now that the internet is available, I do a lot of research in trying to find, the right ways to care for my pigs, the right food, the right supplements, the right dewormer, and how much to give, all of that stuff. So over the years, I've learned quite a bit. Now, when I got my pig, like I said, I didn't have any resources, any help, no one to talk to, no one to help me. I didn't even have a vet close to me. I had to drive over an hour to get to somebody who would just see him like they would a farm pig. He was just a farm vet, great man, and very kind and compassionate, and he helped me a lot. But he'd never had a pig in the house or even had a pet pig as a patient. So today, since I've learned so much and I have so much experience with pigs, I've seen pretty much everything, anything you can imagine. I've seen it. I've worked my way through it. And so my goal today is to be that person that I needed back then. I want to be a resource. I want to be a help. I want to be somebody who, um, you can text and be like, hey, is this normal? Or how do I fix this? Or, and I can point you to all the many resources that I have made available out there. So what are some of those resources? Let's talk about my free resources. On my website, autumnacresminipetpigs.com, I have a blog where I write articles on all different subjects when it comes to pigs. I also have a podcast. I just started that this year in March 2022 is when that began. Right now, I think I have 16 or 17 episodes, and I'm just going to keep going. In those episodes, I have one a month that's a solo episode, and one a month that is an interview with somebody. It could be a vet, it could be somebody who has a pet pig that it's going great, somebody who has a pet pig that is had been really struggling, how they overcame that. It could be an interview with anybody pig related. I love my podcast. It's so much fun for me to be able to do, and I've gotten some really great feedback on it. Another place is, of course, on Facebook, which I don't do a lot on Facebook because Facebook doesn't really like animal breeders. Instagram, I do a lot on Instagram, a lot more. I also have my own my own app type thing. It's my own community on an app called Mighty Networks. And this is really where I'm able to dig in and really help people. So those are my free options. And of course, my YouTube channel. But paid options would be, I have courses. I have several courses. I have a preparing for a new piglet course on Mighty Networks. It costs $25. Now, if you buy one of my piglets, then you get it for free. And if you rescue a pig, a lot of times I send all the rescues a link so that they can share it for free with anybody who rescues a pig from them. Um, Also, I have what I call my signature course, and in this is a massive course. It has more than 50 videos in it. It is like everything that I have learned over the last 19 years. And it really has the tools in it to help someone to be successful with a pet pig. I also have, I do workshops, I do webinars, I do masterminds, which I do love to do masterminds, because masterminds, basically what that means is that you get on with me every week and you're able to ask me whatever questions you want. That's fun for me. It's on the fly, it's challenging, and I love it. And then really, like, the means that I use the most to help people is a group that I've created on Mighty Networks called Autumn Acres Educational Membership Group. And in this group, I teach like you wouldn't believe. I started out my first year, which was 2021, was my first year in that group. And what I did was I made a video every single week, every single week. This year, 2022, what I've started doing is I do 2 videos at the beginning of the week, a month. I do a live Q&A the 3rd week, and the 4th week I do some kind of community building. So it could be anything. It could be a giveaway. I do a lot of giveaways, a lot of really awesome giveaways. It could be here's an issue someone is having, chime in. What have you found to be really helpful with this? I get a lot of support in that group, and it's pretty awesome to see everybody really building friendships. And I've had people in my group fly across the country or even drive across the country to meet other members, to meet me. It's such a wonderful place to build a community, and I love it. Now, I do get asked all the time why I charge for things like this. And I'm going to tell you a little story about why. See, I just started charging for anything, for any information from me in 2021. And here's why. In 2020, there was a pandemic. There were quarantines and people were buying pets like crazy. Pet pigs were one of the biggest markets in 2020. People didn't do any research. They just brought a piglet home, and many of them got one for Christmas that year. I want to say a week after Christmas, my phone was completely bombarded. My YouTube videos, my website, I was getting emails, I was getting text messages. My phone completely blew up 1 week after Christmas. People were finding me. They were desperate. They had these piglets that were biting, that were not social, that were screaming, that were destroying their home, that were pottying all over their home, that were going to the bathroom all over their car, that were vomiting, that had diarrhea, that were sick, that had deformities, that had birth defects. Like, it was crazy the amount of issues people were having. And it took me 6 weeks to get back to everybody, to work through and help everybody. It was a lot of people. And it became my full-time job at that point. For those 6 weeks, I was working full-time, answering text messages and emails and comments and DMs. Oh my word. For the first time in my life, my Instagram DMs and my Facebook private messages. I've never had so many in my life. It was crazy. That trend continued through 2021. All of a sudden, people were finding me again because they were desperate, absolutely desperate. And I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like to just be like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I have no idea if I'm doing anything right or if I'm doing it wrong. And so many of these people were on the verge of just getting rid of their pig. And I hate using that term. I never use that term, getting rid of, but that's what happens when you don't understand what you're doing and you just get so frustrated and you just get to the end of your rope. Like, I can't do this. That's when I decided that I was going to make this a full-time job for me. And if I don't make any money from it, I can't spend my days doing this. Does that make sense? I mean, it should. I'm a mom. I have 2 kids. My husband and I mean, we live in the country and we don't have a lot of, bills or overhead, but we still have to buy food and I still have to do laundry and I still have to cook dinner. I still have to do these things. So if I'm going to take a good portion of my day and help people with their pig, then I have to be compensated for that. And I love this job. It's the best job I've ever had. I've had a lot of really good jobs. I was a sign language interpreter. I worked at a school with young children. I worked with special needs kids. I used to mow grass. Loved that job. I've had a lot of really great jobs, but this is by far my absolute favorite job in the whole wide world. And I appreciate that I get to do it. So if you're looking for more help, please go to my website and see all the tons of ways that I have set up for you to get help with your pig. Now, yes, I have many, many free options, but the paid options are so in depth. They literally hand you the tools. I teach you how a pig thinks. Did you know that in the wild, a pig has a job to do? What is that job? They have 3. What is that job? I tell you in my videos. How do you harness train a pig? I tell you in my videos. Why is a harness scary to a pig? I tell you in my videos. How should you be feeding your pig? Did you know that a pig should not be overweight? A pet pig should not be overweight. It's one of my biggest pet peeves because it causes so much trouble for their body. So much trouble. So all of these things are so important. Aggression. One of the main reasons that people contact me is because their pig has become aggressive and they don't want to get rid of it, but they don't understand why and they don't understand how to fix it. I know the answers to both of those questions. And I teach you in my educational membership group and my signature course and my preparing for a new piglet course. I teach you how to fix it and I teach you why it's happening so that you can understand that it really is normal. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. And please, 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 if you are having trouble with something and you need help, put it in the comments below. I will point you in the right direction as to where of all of my resources of where you can get the most amount of help. As always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time.